Hello, everyone. Welcome to Online Seller UK podcast. My name is Prabhat, founder at Online Seller UK, and today we'll be discussing about e-commerce accounting and key metrics for the growth of any company. So I'm joined by Phil, who is founder of Outserve, and it's e-commerce accounting expert. And they help both Amazon sellers, online sellers in general. So yeah, welcome to our podcast, Phil.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Prabhat. As always, thank you for having me.
Excellent. So let's start with your introduction and your company, and then we can take it from there.
Yeah, so we're accountants, consultants, integrators working with e-commerce brands, e-commerce sellers to really know their numbers, help them get the most important numbers, so they can make the best strategic decisions for their business, for what they want to achieve.
Excellent. So accounting is always it's a complicated area to get involved in. Especially for online sellers, it's quite a lot of work involved to manage all other sides of the business itself. So um, yeah, it's a very time-consuming task, and then sometimes it's difficult to figure out which SKUs are working well for us and which SKUs isn't. So what do you say on that note?
Yeah, and I think as we see, Prabhat, many people do have that challenge, and as you know, we probably saw it in COVID and other times when times are good and the money's coming in, you don't really worry too much about which SKUs are making which money. You're making money, and of course you're busy, but it's great when you're busy making lots of money. But then there are other challenges, and probably 2024 has been maybe one of those years for some where really understanding which SKUs, which products are making money can be so important. And it may be, which product on which channel. You might be making great money on a product on a certain channel and not. As we know, Amazon is very competitive. The price can be quite elastic if you want to stay in that buy box. And of course, we've always got to keep an eye on the margin and the amount of money that you're losing to Amazon, especially when, as you know, the ad spend can change a lot across different SKUs.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. So obviously the margin is the key things that we are hearing this year a lot.
Mm.
It's an important metric. So other than this, what other metrics any e-commerce business should look into?
And I think there isn't one metric, one silver bullet which you can just hang your hat on and say that is it. And we really do focus on make sure that people do know their correct margin. Of course, a lot of the time maybe they don't, and we really think about contribution margin, really knowing all of the costs that go into getting that product at the door. But I think this is when a lot of the figures from yourselves, Prabhat, where you really understanding that cost of acquisition, really understanding how much you're spending on each advertising, each platform for advertising, pay per click, what sales that is generating across all the platforms, all the products, and bringing that into a meaningful report that you're able to make a decision on. I think that's the key when you've got all your key metrics, and you've got to decide, with those top 5 key metrics that you're looking for, say, into a report that you can get fast enough as well. I think this is, we go on about what metrics do you need, what numbers do you need, but actually how fast do you need them. I know quite a few e-commerce businesses that can get the numbers eventually, but they're 6-8 weeks behind. Sometimes that's too long in an e-commerce business. You need to know those numbers quickly and to react. Especially, we're in quarter 4, we're coming up to Black Friday, Cyber Monday, the Christmas period, and if you've got to choose which stock maybe you're putting into FBA, which stock you're really going to lean into and invest into, you need to know those numbers. You need to know your numbers now. Probably today is too late, really, for many businesses. But you can't be waiting 6 to 8 weeks. We'll have seen all of that busy period pretty much be over by then.
Yeah,
You'll have missed the
absolutely.
boat.
Yeah, valid point. Um, so let's talk about reports as such. A lot of e-com business look at obviously ads report, they look at business
Mm.
reports, they may look at inventory reports and things like that. So is there some of the key reports you want to talk about that e-com business should follow
Yeah.
it on a regular basis?
And you probably wouldn't be surprised as accountants, expert in e-commerce, but still as accountants, we stand back and go, really, there are key reports, even a cash flow statement, and that may be, not all business owners or marketers are thinking in this way. Really need to understand how a cash flows through a business, because seeing how a cash flows through that business is then you can really understand, when can I spend on stock, how, when can I spend on ads, what is actually generating the cash, and over what period. And again, we see many e-commerce businesses keeping that eye on sales and what is today, money is in the bank today. Maybe they get their mobile phone, look at what the bank balance is, but do we even see a projection of 4 to 6 weeks away, to 10 weeks, 12 weeks, to really understand? And this is the unfortunate thing that you can see in some businesses, is that suddenly they're running out of money, and actually by the time it hits them, it's the day they pick up the mobile phone, check the banking app, and then realize that they're going to last a week,
Mhm.
and then probably have to rush out, lend some money, probably not at great rates, or plug it a different way, or change very strategically their plans to make good decisions about what you're going to do in a quarter, just understanding how that cash is going to flow, where those pinch points are, and probably making some strategic decisions of best ways to finance. Is it great to just keep plugging those holes with credit cards? Um, the money in the bank today might look okay because you've just bought all your stock on a credit card, or is there short-term financing? There's lots of financing options in this world, especially when you're integrating accounting platforms like Zero, etc. There's many different ways you can get short-term finance if that is the issue. But really, it's that planning of, have we got enough cash? How does it go through? Um, Also, looking at the balance sheet. Many businesses will look at that profit and loss, but hopefully, we would always work with the business and look. We need to build value into a business. Look at the balance sheets, making sure that we're not building up too many liabilities, whether that's debt and everything. Understanding the real valuation of any stock and real valuation of stock as well, because of course, some stock that we bought over the years may not even be worth its purchase price. uh, Again, really trying to get people to think differently and a bit more longer term about the business. As I say, if we look just focusing on what have I sold today, what have I sold this month, what's the balance in the bank? Are we really looking at where's the value in the business? Where is this balance sheet going over time? Especially comparing, quarter on quarter, year on year. How am I building value? What is the real inventory stock valuation? What is the debt situation? How liquid am I as a business? And then we start looking and working with clients on those sort of ratios. We hope for all business owners, they've got a business that can generate them an income that they want, but hopefully for many, a business they can sell and
Mhm.
preparing to sell. And if you want to prepare to sell a business, you've got to be thinking a bit more long term. You need to have a few years often to prepare that business to be in a good place to actually maximize the value of the real return on investment, the investment of all that sweat, blood, tears, years of getting a good sale price for that business when the time comes right. If that's your goal, which still many businesses is the end goal is to sell a business.
Yeah, a lot of them do aim to sell the business at the end. Yeah, no, that's valid point. So one of the key reports, it could be P&L. I'm not sure what you say. Is this something that you got to track on a weekly or a monthly, or how do you suggest?
I think for most people we would start just to see on a monthly. If we're working on a calendar month, because there's always a bit of a lag to get your figures up to date, and we're always doing those so Amazon calculations. So we really do want to understand that. Yes, sales on Amazon, but of course the two weekly payout, which needs breaking down, really understanding the fees, really understanding all the extra bits so we can see real profitability, refunds, returns, all of these discounts and extras. This is what eats into the margin as well, and really understanding all of that. And so I think if for most businesses, the starting point is to have that monthly profit and loss, and again, balance sheet and cash flow, to really focus on success and being able to compare it. And we would really say is one of the best things a business can do is have a target, have a budget, because all figures are only really relevant to your expectation of what are you aiming to get. I know it is very much sometimes a finger in the air. What are we really would we like? And it's not all controllable, but at least then being able to compare that budget or that forecast to the actuals and see where your differences are. And we're all trying to learn better, forecast better, and understand what's going in the market. So if you've got some monthly figures you can rely on in a short time after that month end, which you can then compare to a forecast or a budget. And again, I'm talking about budgeting OPEX, operating expenses, making sure that they're right. I think sometimes we're looking at the sales, we're looking at our margins, and then we forget to go, actually, is this business as lean and mean as it can be? And is all the money flowing out the bottom in overheads and operating expenses that we could actually cut down, and budgeting for that every month? And really just sometimes seeing, are we up and above even just our average? Are we just above on those expenses this month on average compared to other months? It's a red flag, and that's what we're looking for. We're looking to manage the business, control the business. I think that that's every business owner's job is manage their own business and control the controllables. And OPEX is often controllable. Really analyze: do I need this cost? Can I get it down? Can I do it a different way? Or best in the world, do I really need it? Can I just cancel it and stop it at this point? Uh, we just look in our software subscriptions, all the things we sign up to, all the things
Yeah.
that seemed a great idea at the time. There's money to be saved there, and that flows down to the bottom line.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the key areas for the growth we see is international growth. So there may be some barriers like, you know, language and anything else. So, what sort of things do you see on the businesses you're dealing with in terms of barriers to international growth?
Yeah, and I think we should go eyes wide open. There are lots of barriers, and they can be legal barriers, trading barriers, absolutely language, but as much as anything, culture.
Yeah.
The culture, especially in e-commerce, different countries buy in very different ways. If you look at Europe and think I want to expand into Europe, generally French buyers, can act quite differently to German buyers. They have different attitudes to buying online, different attitudes to payment. It can be quite a different world. And as we see, America may have the main core language that we do, but they have also a very different approach, and state by state even. America's different to Canada, and of course, where we often get involved is sales taxes. In all of those countries I've just mentioned, you're going to have a different approach to sales taxes and different forms that you need to fill in and complete, and returns to complete in different ways, and that's really important. So I think we'd all say don't go into any international market lightly, but really understand it. But obviously not to be put off, by really thinking the potential here for more income. And of course, Amazon is a good place to start with FBA, because there's so much of that work you don't have to do, whereas as Amazon can offer that support for customer communication, of course, for delivery, and that whole pick pack wrap. But I do feel that we're probably missing out on opportunities because people are put off by the amount of barriers and blockers, and aren't seeing past that, when really we see many businesses trading international very successfully.
Excellent. Thank you, Phil, for your time today. And we picked up quite a lot of points to help the ecom business. So before we close the recording, so if somebody wants to talk to you, have a maybe informal discussion about their business, so where's the best place to find you?
Probably LinkedIn. If you search for Philip Oakley and Outserve on LinkedIn, you'll definitely find me. And absolutely, I think there's a booking link. Very happy just to have that first chat. Just really understand where you are as a business, and even if we're just signposting, of course, we've covered a lot today, but really, just maybe taking one thing. What one thing could you do in your business that could start to make that first step forward. But absolutely be great to have a chat with any e-commerce business wherever they are on their journey.
Excellent. Thank you again, Phil, for your time today, and let's speak to you best. All the best.
Thanks, Prabhat.